Hi you guys, welcome back and welcome to my new Land Rover Discovery playlist. Well, I hope you subscribe to this channel because I'll be doing this restoration on my 1998 Land Rover Discovery 1 LE series. Well, today I'm going to show you how to replace your fan belt on your 1998 Land Rover Discovery 1 LE 4.0 engine. If you're paying somebody to do this, you probably want to do it yourself. 90% of the time you're going to be saving some big money, and it's not really that hard to do. The first thing you need to think about is, when should you change your fan belt? Well, typically they say fan belts last between 90 to 120,000 miles, depending on the terrain you're driving and what kind of a driver you are. Some of the visual signs of an aged belt to look for include fraying, cracking, a glaze or shine to the belt surface, or peeling of the rubber. If you notice signs of this, even if they're really small, it's generally better to err on the side of caution and replace your serpentine belt as soon as possible. So when you can, try to inspect your belts once a month or once every other month, depending on how much you drive. Once you determine that you want to replace your serpentine belt, you're just going to need a couple of simple tools. So let's get to work. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to need to remove this plastic cover that's on top of your fan, right where the red arrow's at. You're going to have two clips, one here, and on the left side, a little lower, you have one here. Just unsnap those two clips. And go ahead and push upwards, and you'll be able to remove this upper shroud. Just go ahead and set it aside. Now the next thing we're going to look for is your drive belt tensioner. This is what the part looks like, and this is what the part looks like in a vehicle. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your 15mm socket with a long ratchet, and you're going to place it right here where this bolt's at, where the red arrow's at. And you're going to turn your ratchet clockwise. Okay, let's go in the engine and locate this part. Okay, if you look at your alternator, just slightly to the left below the alternator is your tensioner bolted into the engine. To the right, you'll see the pulley, and there's the nut that we're looking for. Now let's go ahead and put our 15mm socket in it with our long ratchet. Now, if you don't have a long ratchet, I used a long pipe to give me a little more leverage. Once your socket's in there, just turn your ratchet clockwise and you'll see it relieve tension to the serpentine belt. Once you have it loose, go ahead and remove it from the alternator. Now remember, don't get your fingers in between the fan belt and a pulley. If that ratchet slips, you're going to get tension, and you don't want your finger pinched between the pulley and your serpentine belt, so be careful. Okay, now that you've removed the fan belt from your alternator, go ahead and remove your socket and ratchet. Okay, let me show you how you can remove your fan belt without a lot of frustration. So we've already loosened it here, correct? It's laying here somewhere because we've loosened the tensioner. Now what you're going to do is you're going to remove the belt from the AC compressor. Now it's going to kind of loop this way, correct? Okay, it's going to loop around that way. Then what you're going to do is you're going to come on the bottom and you're going to remove it from the bottom pulley. And it's going to lay somewhere in here. Now I know the fan's going to be in the way a little bit, but we're going to work with that later. So once you have it removed from the bottom, then remove it from here, okay? So it's kind of going to loop kind of like this, loose, right? Now, what you're going to do is you're going to pull from this side from the bottom of the belt. And what you're going to do with your left hand, you're going to pull, and with your right hand, you're going to kind of work the bottom out. Once it's out, it's going to pull right out all together. So you may want to try that. You can see here, I already have the bottom fan belt removed from the bottom pulley. Now I'm removing it from the power steering pump, and with my left hand I'm pulling outwards to the left, and here's the top view as I'm pulling it out. You can see how easy the fan belt comes out. Okay, this is the belt I'm going to replace it with. It's a Gates Serpentine belt. Here's the part number for it. I paid about 25 to 30 bucks for it. Okay, let's get this thing in. So once we take it out of the box, we're going to stretch it out. Now let me stop right here. This is really important. If you notice, when you took it out, it has a natural loop. It wants to turn on each end. You're going to take the end of the loop on the right side, right where the red arrow's at, and you're going to put it right here. Let's go to the diagram. Okay, as you're fishing that loop through here, you're going to go through here. You're going to want to end up with that loop going right here. That end of the loop should be right here, and there's a reason for that, and I'll show you later. So you're going to go in through here, wrap it around. At the same time, you're going to wrap this around the bottom as you fish it through. Okay? Okay, so we've fished it through here. You're going to take the upper part of the belt and you're going to wrap it around here. And where that loop is going to end is right here, like I was saying. Make sure it ends up here, okay? At the same time, when you're looping this around, you're going to take the bottom part of the belt and you're going to wrap it around here on the bottom of that pulley. So you're going to fish it through. The top part of the belt is going to go around. The loop is going to end here, and then you're going to wrap it around the bottom. So now you have a loop coming out here, correct? Okay. Once you have that done, and you have, everything now is where it's supposed to be, you're going to take this part and you're going to wrap it around your AC compressor first. Then what's going to happen is this is not going to fit because it's too short. That's when you get your ratchet and your socket and you turn it clockwise. And when you turn it clockwise, this is going to lower down and you'll be able, and everything's going to get loose and you're going to be able to wrap it around the alternator. Again, be careful with your fingers. Once you have it wrapped around, then go ahead and release this, and this is going to move upwards and everything's going to get tightened. Everything's going to get tightened up, and then you're done. You just make sure that the belt is on there correctly all the way around. Once you got it in there like it's supposed to be, go ahead and start your car and make sure that everything's in there properly. And that's it. If you're having trouble on the bottom pulling up, what I did is I made this tool out of a hanger and just made a 90-degree turn to help me grab it and pull it. You can see with this tool, I went ahead and pulled it up and wrapped it around the power steering pump. And if you look down at the very bottom where the red arrow's at, I still need to put the fan belt on the bottom pulley. Now here's the reason why I wanted you to put that loop that was on the right side of your hand, and we looped around the power steering pump. Because if you look on the left side of the belt, see how it's just sticking up by itself? You're not having to fight to hold it. You don't have to have a second hand helping you. It naturally wants to stay up in that position. That's why you want to do it that way. Just working a little smarter, that's all. You can see I got the Serpentine belt wrapped around the bottom pulley now. Now you can see I'm taking the Serpentine belt and wrapping it around the AC compressor. Notice when I let go, the Serpentine belt doesn't move. Now we're going to get our ratchet and socket in place. Once in place, we're going to turn the ratchet clockwise to loosen up the serpentine belt. And as we do that, we're going to wrap around the alternator. And then we're going to slowly move the ratchet counterclockwise so it'll tighten everything up. Once you got everything in, remove your ratchet and your socket. Inspect that the serpentine belt is where it's supposed to be throughout all the pulleys. Once you've done that, go in the vehicle, start it up, and make sure everything stays in its place. Once you looked at your fan belts and everything looks good, go ahead and turn off your engine and go ahead and snap in your top shroud and you're done. It's that simple. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it was very informative. Please check out my other how-to videos. Oh, and check out my new website. There's new items being put in there every day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course, hit the bell. Until then, we'll see you at my next video. Bye.